The Anytone, something funny with that, because those Pi-Star things work fine with the MD380 and with the mobile rig here in the shack, but man, it don't like that Anytone for some reason. I don't know what the hell it is. So the new thing I just put together doesn't do any better really than the Chinese one I had before.
I guess it's, par for the course. You live and you learn. But that sucks. Well, I heard Scott saying that he doesn't have any issues, I guess, with his. So hopefully he'll get it all figured out there. But, long day at work today. I had to pull a transmission at the end of the day. Clutch in a Mazda Protege, 2000 Mazda Protege. I think it's a 2000. I mean, that thing's just a rusted piece of junk. But got it out and put it back in when I go back in on Thursday. But I wanted to make sure I got it out before the end of the day. Got it out in an hour and a half. So I made good time on it. Pays 5.5 hours, 6 hours, so I'm way ahead of the clock here so far, so that's good. And yeah, man, that Phillies game was fun. Oh, it was that fun. Whew. I'd never experienced anything like that, and the fact that the only thing I paid for was a $7 bottle of water. That's it, all day at the place. To have those seats and that experience and not pay a dime, get up close and personal with all the players, Jason Worth and Chase Utley and Shane Victorino and Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins, within literally arms. I mean, you saw the picture of Bobby Abreu. I mean, he was 10 feet from me. I said, hey, Bobby, can I get a picture? He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, he gave me a thumbs up and all. And yeah, they were great. I saw Jimmy Rollins. I caught him, and he was walking into the stadium. We were sitting there waiting at the Hall of Fame Club entrance, and that's where the players are saying, the celebrities and the television personalities and everybody, and the players' wives and everything walk in there. So I caught him. But as we were walking up, he was taking the last picture with a person. If we were at 10 seconds earlier, I would have got his autograph and all that. But we were just missed him by a little bit. But he's short. He's shorter than me. He's very short. But anyway, yeah, I had a really good time, and I wish you could have experienced it. You would have loved it.
Well, that sounds really cool. Well, they always boost on baseball for short guys. Even a guy might be 5'4", 5'5", 5'6". They always list him as 5'8" or 5'9".
Oh, he's listed at 5'7", and he's every bit of maybe 5'5". I mean, he's definitely shorter than me, and I'm 5'6" and a half. You know what I mean? 5'7". So, yeah, he was definitely a short one, but it was cool, man. Seeing being that close to the field and being able to, yelling down at the players and knowing they could hear you and seeing how big some of these guys are. I mean, because Rhys Hoskins is a giant. Dude is huge, man. And then Jose Abreu for the Sox is huge. And he was sitting there talking to Bobby Abreu before the game for a while. I got their picture and being able to hear every ball, the crack of the, you know what I mean, and hearing the chirping coming out of the dugout. And I mean, it was cool, man. It was definitely a really good time.
Well, something about that Rhys Hoskins that bugs me, man. I don't like the guy. There's something about him. I think he's very self-centered. All he cares about is his hitting home runs. And I mean, I've always told you that before. I mean, those guys that you saw, those veterans, the other teams, those guys, a lot of those guys on those teams were really likable. I don't find, I'm trying to think of one guy that I really think is a really likable guy on this new team. I don't really like any of them.
No, you're 100%, and I've heard a lot of people say that on sports radio, on whether it's the Fanatic or WIP. They're not a very likable team. It's a team of individuals. It's not a team, you know. With, the trio of Rollins, Howard, you know what I mean, and Carlos Ruiz, Cliff pitching with him, and even when they won the World Series, they didn't have any big name pitchers. Like Kyle Kendrick and Jamie Morton was like in his 40s when he was pitching. Shane Victorino, the flying Hawaiian. It's like everybody was, likable to a certain extent on that team. This team is just full of individuals, and I really like Scott Kingery. I really like him. I like Bryce Harper because he doesn't look like a superstar. He's a superstar baseball player. I mean, he's very, introverted, kind of stays back. He doesn't, boast, walk around with his chest. He's fashionable and does, he's kind of with the bandana or the sweatbands and stuff. But, I agree with you 100%. And Rhys Hoskins, real quick, I heard that the regulars, at the game who people who say that it's right by, the whole time, like him. There's a lot of people that don't like that guy. Every time he ran off the field, he had the baseball in his hand. He never threw the ball over the net to the people. Kids are up there waving, trying to get the ball. You know what I mean? He would always have a ball in his hand and never threw the ball over the net. All the other players would. He would throw one ball over the net the whole game.
Now that was Hoskins, right?
Yes, that was Hoskins.
I don't like the guy. I just don't like him. And you're right. There are a whole bunch of individuals out there, and I just don't think they're a likable team. I think they make tons of money, and that's all they care about. Playing good enough. Okay, it's like once they hit a home run, one home run out of those guys, and they walk around like they're the king of the world, and they figure the pressure's off them, until 7 or 8 more at bats, or 10 or 15 more at bats, and then they hit another one. They're just not a likable team, and the players are not likable. And somebody that gets as much money as Hoskins and what's his name? Number 3, what's his name? Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper should look like Mickey Mantle out there. Bryce Harper should have 25 home runs now. 25 to 30 home runs. Do you realize, look what they did to Michael Franco, okay? They put him on whatever list he's on. Harper only has about 4 more home runs than he does.
Well, what they did to Michael was dirty. And it was a stupid decision all the way around. Okay, they sent him down to AAA. They sent him down to the minors. Okay, right before the game. When he showed up at the ballpark for the game is when they told him he was sent down to the minors. And apparently he didn't go over too well with him either. And they decided to keep Sean Rodriguez up instead of him because Sean could play the outfield. But Michael Franco has a few home runs less than Bryce Harper. Okay, Christian Yelich with the and Mike Trout did 38, 39 home runs. Them guys have already. He doesn't even have 20 yet. And Michael Franco is the best fielding third baseman on the team, hands down. Okay, he's not a consistent, bat at the plate. I get it. He's not versatile. He doesn't fit into the team's versatility where every player, it seems like, most players seem like they can bounce from the infield to the outfield. I get that a little bit. But don't send the guy down to AAA. Keep him on the bench. They don't have a right-handed power bat off the bench. The only right-handed bat off the bench now is Sean Rodriguez, and he's not a power bat. The guy has 3 home runs all year long. Anybody could see. You could ask anybody. Who do you think has a better chance of hitting a home run at the plate, Maikel Franco or Sean Rodriguez? Everybody's going to say Maikel Franco. And back to the point about, a team of individuals. I really think that starts with Gabe Kapler, and that's a clubhouse mentality. That's an environment, in the clubhouse. It starts, with Gabe, I think. And I think it's kind of, in the beginning there was kind of, the aura of, Bryce just got signed, and, everybody thought the team was going to be great, and this, that, and the third. And when they started to falter, it didn't seem like, the environment was kept up by the manager, and it also wasn't kept up by, a person like Bryce or say JT Realmuto, to keep that energy going, where Bryce Harper doesn't hold himself as a superstar. They said this on the radio today. He needs to start acting like one, to start saying, come on, guys, wake up, start being that motivating factor for these guys. And they just don't seem like they have it. And I think, personally, that's a big problem with why they're so inconsistent, because, they don't have that energy with each other from day to day. They'll go out there, they'll have a good game, but the next game, it's back to the same old, going through the motions when they walk into the clubhouse. And nobody's keeping the energy going.
W2SDR. Well, that's why I don't care that much about them. I mean, because they don't care about me. There seems to be a big gap between them and the Phillies. It just seems like they're on a planet of their own, and there's too big of a gap. They're not one of the crowd. And it's just crap. And I don't know whether it's the money. So you could say it's Kapler. I don't know what it is. I just don't like the players. I don't like them. I wouldn't want any of their autographs, to be honest with you. I couldn't care less about them. I mean, even with the juiced up ball, they still can't hit. I mean, batting 245, 250, 252. Give me a break. I mean, with that dunk ball, the juice ball that they have, it's just pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. I mean, look at that Chicago White Sox series. My God, that team is one of the worst teams in baseball. I mean, you mark my words, Perry. The team that's going to play small ball, conventional, good, hard-nosed baseballs, is the one that's going to win the World Series. You just wait and see. All this launch angle crap is for these 500 teams. The team that's going to win the World Series is going to play old-time baseball. Old-time baseball. You wait and see.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I've agreed. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. But a team like the Dodgers, okay, in Atlanta, they employ the launch angle approach when it's necessary. Okay, but when it's necessary to play small ball, they still play small ball. When they have to manufacture runs, they can still manufacture runs. They can bunt, they can hit and run. They can steal bases. They can double steal. They can, shoot balls, little bloopers. They can hit balls, on a line. They can also hit balls for home runs. They can do it all. And with this team, it's all angle. This team cannot manufacture runs. And seeing, after a game like last night where they were able to manufacture some runs, but they were 5 for 18 last night with men in scoring position. 5 for 18. They could have blown that last night. Still didn't. And I don't know, it's been time and time again with them. Like in the White Sox series, it was another disaster. In that 15-inning game, they left the bases loaded 3 times with 1 out, with less than 2 outs. Okay, 3 times they couldn't get a run in. They left, I think, 18 men on the bases in that game and only scored twice. 2 for 18 men in scoring position in that game. And then Kapler blows and gives up on the game because Eflin, said, I'm a little bit sore. Number one, Eflin should have said anything. He couldn't ask How you feeling? I feel fine, Coach. Put me out there is what he should have said, number one. And number two, even if he's a little bit sore, it's the 15th inning, you know, so in a tie game, you're going to run for the hitter with a pitcher, knowing you're going to have to put that pitcher in left and put a position player on the mound in a tie game when you're in an NL wild card race? I mean, come on.
Well, this is it. You see, Perry, they're making so much money they don't care. And, you know, the only way that they're going to change something, because this whole world is about money, Perry, is that people don't go to the games. They don't go. They don't show up. People are showing up and watching these games like they're the best team in baseball. They should stay home. You know, I wouldn't go. Like, I know you had a great time and all the rest of this stuff, but you couldn't pay me to go to one of their games this year. If you gave me $100, I'd stay home.
I know you would. I mean, for me, see, look, with the 2018, like, you know, being able to see all, like, I fell in love with a lot of those players, you know, different players, like individuals on that team, like being able to be 3 feet from Jamie Moyer, have him sign my hat, and like Kyle Kendrick sign my hat, and those guys I watched in 2008, you know, win the World Series, and being able to see those guys up close and personal was something that I'll never forget. Okay, because that team meant a lot to me. That whole World Series and all that. 2008, the run from 2007 to 2011 was, you know, meant that whole core of players. But anyway, a lot of people, you know, excuse me, let me get back to what I was saying. I got a little sidetracked. I'm rooting more for the team than I am for individual players. I want to see the Phillies do good, okay? And yeah, I could care less, you know, about, you know, Harper or, you know, Hoskins or JT or any of them, you know, hoisting, you know, the trophy, you know, for like with Rollins and Utley and all that. Like I really, you know, felt good for them. We're really happy for them as a person, you know, for them to you know, fight through that season and win the World Series and go through all that hard work, and you know, but with this season, I'm just rooting for the Phillies because of the Phillies, you know. And it's after this White Sox series, man, it was just absolutely pitiful. And that game, man, when they hit that grand slam, me and my buddy Joe, we just looked at each other. We was like, did that just really happen? You know, we're down 5-0 now in the second inning. We knew the game was over at that point, you know, with the way they've been playing. And it's frustrating. And listening to these people call, listening to sports radio all day, and you know, the whole fan base is frustrated with it. And people aren't going to the games. Like that 2009, you know, alumni, you know, game or whatever on Sunday, that wasn't even sold out. There was like 31,000 people there. It wasn't even close to being sold out. A lot of people have given up on the Phillies this year, and I think that a lot of it is because I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Well, anyway, that's just, you know, it's just crappy. So, but anyway, people keep going. No matter what, they're getting plenty of people. You know, they're not going to get my money. You know, because they got so much money. It's like in the Bronx Tale, you know, like the kid was like, oh, yeah, this baseball, I care about you. You know, you care about them. Do they care about you? They don't care about you. The guy won't even throw a ball to the people. They could care less. They couldn't care any less. You know, as far as Harper goes, I won't even give him a second look. That guy should be batting, for my money, no less than 280, and he should have 25 home runs by now. 25 to 30 home runs. Okay, that's it. Any less than that, the guy's not worth the money. He's just not worth it. I mean, they should be booing him every time he strikes out up there. It's like, I mean, for him to have the guts to say, well, give me a break. I'm in a slump. Hey, wait a minute. You're making $1 billion frickin' dollars a year. You know, then give back some of that money. If you want to be given the benefit of the doubt of just you know, that you're a human being and got faults. If you want that, then you give back some of that money.
Yeah, imagine that. Well, I think especially for that money, so he should work harder. Because he's a real, he does his own thing, like in the batting cages, does batting practice his own way. Like he flies, he flies his own flag. You know what I mean? He does a lot of stuff on his own. And I think a lot of the players do. And Maikel Franco was really liked in that clubhouse from what everybody was saying. He's a real upbeat guy, and Gene Segura in that Mets series where Maikel hit the game-winning home run, and then Gene Segura, what ended up being the game-winning or the game-tying home run, and then Gene Segura hit the walk-off. In that game, Gene Segura said, I play a better shortstop when Maikel Franco's at third base because he's a better third baseman. He probably doesn't have to worry about whoever's at third base, and he keeps he's a positive attitude. The guy doesn't hustle every now and then, but, baseball is different than what it used to be, and especially, for when you grew up and that's it's a whole different ball game. No pun intended. You know what I mean? The year of the home run. But like I said, the team that's going to win the World Series, like he said, is the team that can still play small ball. And, they may incorporate some of this launch angle stuff into some of it, but they need to, and they need to manufacture runs. They're going to manufacture runs. And the team with the best starting pitching is still, either going to be in the World Series or going to win the World Series. So Phillies still got a long way to go. This season definitely ain't it, that's for sure.
Well, we'll see what happens. I watch them because there ain't nothing else to do. But it's one of my least favorite Phillies teams to watch. I mean, I like losing Phillies teams much more than this team. So out of all the years I've been watching baseball, which is probably 50 years, over 50 years, this is my least favorite team to watch.
Man, you're really, whew. I didn't know you quite felt that strongly about it.
Well, yeah, I'll watch a losing team if I see that they're really trying, but I see too many lackadaisical plays. See, that's what really gets me. If you're trying to beat out every hit, that's fine. If you're running stuff out like that, that's fine. If you're trying to bunt, some of these players, when they try to bunt, which they never do, it looks like they haven't bunted since they were in 4th grade. So that means they're not practicing. The pitchers are not practicing bunting, okay? I mean, you don't need the manager to tell you that. I mean, if you got any pride as a player, especially a pitcher, you should have pride that you want to take practice so you can lay down a bunt and show what you can do, not that what the manager tells you to do.
Yep, I agree 100%. And another thing I think why the 2018 was such a likable team and they gelled so well because they all came up through the system. The majority of that team came up through the Phillies farm system. Ryan Howard did, Chase Utley did, Jimmy Rollins did, and Cole Hamels did. And a bunch of other players did. And this team, they just went out and spent a whole bunch of money in the offseason and picked these players from everywhere. And nobody on this team except Aaron Nola came up through the farm system. Who else? Adam Hazley. Okay, he's been playing really good as of late. I like that kid. He's a good. He's an old school player. He doesn't like the launch angle stuff. He's very outspoken about how he doesn't bite it, bullet launch angle stuff. And he's been doing really good since they brought him up. And I can't think of anybody else. Well, Andrew Knapp, the backup catcher, but he's a scrub. But besides those 2 players that I just mentioned, everybody else was bought. I mean, maybe that is.
W2SDR. Well, one last comment, and I got to get something to eat. It's all about money, Perry, like I told you before. They don't have to do anything. They can put a team like this on the field. Their attendance is really good. There is no impetus for this management, for this team, for this manager, for the players to do any better than what they're doing now, because they're making a ton of money. All of them are making money because they're getting people to go to these games. Okay? They're selling tickets, and that's all that they care about. Okay? They will not improve their playing until the attendance starts going down. That's the only way. If they're getting hit in the pocketbook, that's the only way they're going to turn it up. As long as people are still watching and still going to the games, you're going to get crap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And with with the comments that the president made, with the whole playoff comment, if we make the playoffs, we do. If we don't, we don't. Clintac said the same thing. We'll see how we do with the trade deadline. If we can make some, gig, and if not, oh well, basically. We don't care. They couldn't be so deep between the president, the general manager, and the manager of the club, and the entire team could not be disconnected from the Philadelphia fan base and the core values of the Philadelphia fans, and the blood, sweat, and tears, that we expect, and the blue collar mentality that we expect. They could not be further disconnected from us. And you're 100% right. Until it starts hitting them in the pocketbook, it's par for the course. They're going to keep going in the direction that they're going in. That's a really, really good point. Well, anyway, all right, man, go get something to eat. I'm going to do the same. Go chill on the couch, kick my feet up. And it's a late game tonight. I might take a nap and wake up and watch some of the games since I don't have to work tomorrow. But it doesn't start, I don't think, till 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So I don't even know if I'm going to watch any of it. But anyway, good catching you here on 75 meters, man. Good conversation. W2SDR, W3MMR.
All right, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I'm going to get something to eat. We'll see what happens. 7-3, catch you later. W3MMR, W2SDR. Clear, 3873. And you had a good signal. You sounded great over here the whole night. I forgot to give you a signal report. W2SDR, 7-3.
Oh, yeah, you too. On the 5S meter here, so appreciate the kind words, and you always sound great as well. Trust me. We'll catch you a little bit later. W2SDR. We'll see you. 73.